It's like living in a different time zone. And biologically, their condition is caused by an abnormal body clock.
I think I could hear you.
It's called ASPS, or Advanced Sleep Phase Syndrome.
Approximately 2 years ago, that's when we found out about what ASPS is and what it involves, what it's like. My dad, he grew up as a dairy farmer, and so he got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and milked cows. So for him, ASPS worked out beautifully, you know, to be able to get up early and to do that. So when we were growing up, I guess I kind of wondered if I just kind of inherited it from him as a dairy farmer.
Unfortunately, you know, we didn't get past the first formation. You know, he had to kind of stand there.
I think Bethany and I are very close. I think because we've had those early mornings together all of her life, that I would think I have a closer relationship than I would think some fathers, because they haven't been able to have that time together.
Like Mr. Owen says, it's a great day to be a marching blue jay.
But ASPS doesn't affect the whole family.
Talk to us after the game.
Clay and Bethany have it, but Clay's wife Janelle and their son Casey don't. And this means that their family is divided in time.
There's been times when I wished, you know, we would kind of function the same as other families. It does make it hard when you're wanting to be together, and if we want to do something in the evening. So I think we intentionally plan to do things mid-morning. We go to matinees for movies instead of going to the evening movies, but we just don't schedule a lot in the evening.
Only a handful of families in the world are known to have ASPS. And their DNA is helping scientists to unpick the very basis of our body clock. It turns out that our body's time is controlled by just a few genes. And a single mutation on a single gene is enough to cause it to go completely adrift. Studying these genes has revealed something quite extraordinary. These same few body clock genes seem to be present in all plants and animals, and this suggests they must be one of life's most fundamental building blocks. For me, I find it absolutely astounding that the biological clocks ticking away in my body are about the same as those of the grunion. Imagine, it's in the birds, in cows, flies, plants too, even bacteria. We all share the same biological mechanisms for time. So the rhythm of our daily lives comes from within us. Our fundamental experience of time turns out to be internal, written into the DNA of every single cell of our bodies. But in the past couple of 100 years, that's all changed. The rule of nature has been replaced by the rule of machines. Industry, global travel, and electric lights have created a brave new world in which we control the length of our days. We're no longer at the whim of nature. Technology has allowed us to create our own time, but at a faster pace. Now, from dawn to dusk, we are driven by time, by what feels like an external force relentlessly ticking off the seconds and minutes of our lives. But could even our sense of the march of time ultimately come from inside of us? It seems we all have a sense of time passing, and how much. Even in a completely empty environment, in the absence of any information. we still have this ability. It's like a sixth sense. So there's something going on inside of us, something in our mind that allows us to judge the amount of time passing. And scientists have asked the question, how do we do this? At Duke University in North Carolina, scientists have made an astonishing discovery.
Welcome.
I'm going to take part in an experiment to reveal just how we sense time passing. It's all down to something Warren Mech calls the stopwatch. So you believe that there's a stopwatch in my brain that's sort of ticking away, right? I mean, how can that be?
Well, the idea is that there's a brain circuit in there that's very selective for keeping track of time. And that when we put you in the scanner, we can actually see that circuit at work.
It's going to light up in some sense? Your machine's going to be able to look right in and see certain centers of the brain lighting up?
Well, if we can get you to focus on just the duration of the events in there, that'll put a spotlight on this stopwatch. And so you're right, we're going to be able to activate it and just look right into the brain.
The hope is that Warren Mech and his team will be able to identify which area of the brain is active while I'm timing something.
Michio, can you hear me okay? I'm going to have you respond to those duration stimuli as to whether they're shorter or longer. Are you ready?
It's incredible to think it's actually possible to detect my experience of time passing.
Anita just sent it over. Let's take a look.
Oh, look at that. Oh, wow, that's my brain.
Over here, we're looking for what parts of your brain were activated when you were trying to time the duration of those stimuli.
Warren, look at this. This is by far the brightest part of the timing part of the brain. What's happening there?
Well, this is the front part of your brain where the critical part of the stopwatch is.
It's astonishing. I'm looking at the very cells which sense time passing, seeing them in action. So this is what's beating then, right? There's a stopwatch is right there.
Right.
Now, what's inside there that is actually beating? Is it a chemical reaction? Is it a nervous reaction? And what is it inside there that's clicking away?
Right. Well, there are thousands of brain cells inside of there that beat in a regulated fashion, and they serve as essentially the tick-tock of the stopwatch.
So even this sense of time passing is embedded within the neurochemistry of our brains. A cluster of cells near the base of our brain releases a chemical that acts as a start signal. This then triggers a group of neurons at the front of the brain to fire together, but each to a different beat. And it's this pattern of beats that signals how much time has elapsed. This process is happening constantly, without us even knowing it. We're continually timing the world around us. So if Warren is right, it means that he's been able to isolate the circuits that allow us to judge the passing of time. The organ, so to speak, that allows us to measure the beat of time itself. The discovery of the stopwatch might even explain a bizarre phenomenon. In life-threatening situations, people say that time slows down. So much that they could see every tiny detail. The question is
Does time really slow down? Or is it just imagined? We're going to find out. Psychologist Dr. David Eagleman is about to conduct the first ever scientific experiment to explore whether time really does slow down in a near-death situation.
So in order to measure how fast people's brains are taking in information, we've built this device, which we call the perceptual chronometer. And the idea is that numbers flash very rapidly on this LED screen. They flash so rapidly that a normal brain under normal circumstances can't see what's being flashed here. But if time were running in slow motion, then you should be able to distinguish the numbers.
Jesse Callis has volunteered to be our guinea pig.
Can you see that there are numbers flashing on the screen here?
Yes.
Okay, these are flashing at a slow rate. If I
Okay.
speed this up, at some
First,
point,
David has to make sure that Jesse can't read the numbers when time is running normally for him.
that it's very difficult to read what the numbers are.
Yes,
maybe impossible.
very difficult.
Okay, and so are you able to read what's on the screen now?
Yes.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay. And here, can you read the number at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Let's just do this number here.
Yeah, great. Is that too tight?
No, go ahead.
There's no way to fake this test because if time is not running more slowly, they can't see the sequence.
Nervous.
It's a long way down. Slow down. You're too scared.
Jesse is about to free fall from a height of 33 meters, 12 stories above the ground. The question is, will he be able to read the number on the way down?
It's great.
Jesse, did you see any numbers on the display?
Yeah, 56.
56, all right, let's verify this. Okay, the number that was actually presented was a 5 and a 0, 50. The 0 happens to look a lot like a 6. So what this means is that, at least mostly, he was able to see a presentation rate that he was not able to see under normal circumstances. Maybe what we can do is try again and see if you get both the numbers right this time.
Again?
Again.
Okay.
Hey, I didn't know what you had on the side facing you.
I find this result fascinating. I would have loved it if he saw both numbers exactly correctly, but this at least suggests to me that he's able to take in information faster than he was before.
'96.
96? True.
That's what I saw.
The answer is 98. Hey, that's great.
So for a second time, Jesse has seen a number very similar to the one on the screen.
These results today are very encouraging because this is the first evidence that somebody's brain can speed up and they can see the world more slowly during a high adrenaline situation.
This is the first demonstration that time really can slow down. But how? Back at Duke University, Warren Meck is exploring this remarkable phenomenon by giving mind-altering drugs to rats.
We're particularly interested in drugs like cocaine and marijuana because we believe they can distort time perception by compressing time or lengthening time. Hi, Ray. Is everything ready?
Hi, Ron. Yes, everything's ready.
Good, let's go.
He's going to test whether these chemicals change the stopwatch mechanism that allows the rats to measure time.
So the rats have had their drugs for about 20 minutes now. As you can see, the marijuana rat is mellowed out. The cocaine rat's gotten quite mad and is trying to escape out of this cage here. And the saline rat is just acting normally.
The plan is to give the animals a timing task. The rats have previously been trained to measure time precisely. If the rat presses a lever after 12 seconds, he gets a reward of a food pellet. But if he's too early or too late, he gets nothing. The rat, given saline only, does this task perfectly and presses the lever after 12 seconds, the correct time. Next, the rat on cocaine